Joining us here now live is the family of Cassie Carli. Now, they have been searching far and wide, looking everywhere that they can for Cassie, but they're taking some time out of their day to join us here on WFLA now. Guys, I'll let you introduce yourself to our audience, but thanks for taking the time. And again, we're asking folks to share, to help, because she's still out there, and folks are still, of course, doing everything they can to find her. Can you speak for a moment as to who Cassie is to you after, of course, you all introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Cassie's sister, Rayanne. This is her brother.
My brother,
Tony.
Anthony.
I'm Kirsty Sullivan. I went to high school with Cassie and have been good friends for decades.
And Cassie's best friend of 25 years.
And can you put into words, each one of you, can you put into words what Cassie means to you and the person that she is?
Cassie is just full of life. She is so happy. Anyone that's been around her can just feel her energy is always just full of love and light. And she has touched so many people, not just in our family. I mean, she was the glue in our family that held us together, but in the community. She loved her city of Navarre. She loved the beach. She loved the outdoors. Taking her daughter to the beach was the highlight of her day. She would go daily if she could. She just so full and excited and hopeful for the future.
A very strong person.
So strong.
Cassie and I went to high school together, and I've seen so many people from high school come out in the last 5 days. It's fueling our fire. Like, we're not stopping until we have Cassie and Sailor home. And I have yet to meet a single person with a bad thing to say about her.
Yes.
I can't think of anybody that doesn't like Cassie or wouldn't want to hang out with Cassie, because she is always cutting up and laughing. Like, when I think of Cassie, the first word that comes to my mind is like joy. Joy.
And you can tell with the community rallying behind you and your family and Cassie's family and friends, just the rallying that has gone on. It speaks to how much she is loved in this community. I've been on the phone really around the clock for the last 24 hours, texting, calling, and the amount of love that has been coming through. It's just, we can hear it in your voice. Can you tell us what it was like when you first found out that Cassie could not be located? Now, again, for the audience just joining us, on Sunday night around 7 o'clock, she goes across the causeway in Navarre Beach to pick up her daughter. This was relatively normal, right, you guys? I mean, relatively normal to pick up her daughter on a Sunday night because her daughter was in her father's custody on the weekends. Do I have this correct? And then something went wrong. Can you kind of walk us through exactly what transpired?
It was every other weekend, and it was actually supposed to happen in Destin. It wasn't normal for her to be meeting him there. Sometimes, rare, maybe once or twice a year, she had met him in Navarre recently, because we understand that there's a family that would babysit often for Marcus when he had his daughter 2 days out of 14.
And for those of you, Marcus who was named yesterday in the press conference by the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office. Marcus is the 4-year-old daughter of Cassie's father, who is in Birmingham, Alabama. But we'll get into that here in just a few moments. There's a lot to this story. And so what was it like when did you find out, all of you, when did you find out that Cassie had disappeared, and what was that like, and where did your mind go when you originally heard the news that she was missing?
Our father, since she resides with him, he was the first immediate red flag when he 3 hours later and she still was not home, and he contacted me the next morning, still just so worrisome. And of course, I reached out to her friends. She is always in contact with her family and friends. Even during the exchange, she would have texted. So we immediately, our red flag was Marcus, because she has always had some concern for her safety in general. But we know Cassie would have reached out to us if something was not looking right or suspicious.
Yeah, it's not like her at all. It's not like her.
Mm-mm.
So I
We
want to.
know beyond a shadow of a doubt she would not have left anywhere with Marcus, being in Navarre, her hometown where she grew up, and she could have called hundreds of people within a mile's radius to come and get her. Yes.
And this is
her
what
daughter
has been concerning, is because now we heard yesterday out of the mouth of the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office about her purse being located. But what do we know about her phone? Because normally somebody goes missing, the first thing you do is you call them, you text them. Do you have any idea where
We're not
her phone
sure
is?
what has happened with her phone. We know that it wasn't in the purse. We know that, I mean, we've all been calling and texting it since we realized what was started happening Monday evening. And it's gone straight to voicemail. Her messages, her text messages went from blue to green, which if you know Apple phones, you know that means something changed that shouldn't have changed. We're really confident in the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Department. We feel like they're working really hard, and they're protecting whatever information that they may have, because it's in the best interest of finding Cassie right away and prosecuting whoever's responsible for this disappearance.
I have a lot of questions to ask in the next few minutes, because I know you guys have to go resume search efforts. You have places to be, and you're taking time out of your day to join us. And again, the reason that the family is here, folks, and friends of Cassie is here, is for a very specific reason: to get the share count up on social media and to increase exposure. Again, looking for the missing mother out of Navarre Beach, 37-year-old Cassie Carli. I want to hone in on the phone for just another second, because Cassie's father received text messages from Cassie's phone. I think it was at some point that night, and I think that was a bit alarming to the entire family. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you've told me that was alarming to the entire family, correct?
Yes. Yeah. That the text messages my father received from my sister's phone were nothing of typical speak my sister would have said, especially the claims of car and phone troubles at the same time. She would have walked to the nearest gas station if she had to before getting Marcus for any type of help in a situation like that.
Something else I've looked at with these text messages recently is, if you look at the way the punctuation is and the verbiage, he slips up, I believe, in some of these text messages and leaves out words like he typically does in his own text messages. It sounds like him.
And I want to just backtrack for our audience, because I know you guys have been talking about this so much, but what you are saying is that you do not believe that the text messages about the car being broken down, those text messages that went from Cassie's phone to the phone of her father, were not sent by Cassie, and
we do not believe that those messages were sent by Cassie.
And who do you believe sent them?
Marcus.
Marcus.
She's been
the last person to see her alive.
She's been telling me for the last 2 years that this dude has been threatening her. He's pulled a gun out. She's worried. She's never wanted me to come around. And she's always said, if something happens to me, it's him. And
Cassie wouldn't leave her daughter. The minute I knew that she didn't have her purse, her phone, her car, or her child, we know. We're just praying that he makes a good decision and we can find her.
I'm going to throw up some pictures here, because our commenters are asking for more pictures of Cassie so that we can spread the word and show this image and get this image out to as many places as possible. You'll also see some videos sent to us by the folks that are joining us via Zoom of the search efforts that are currently underway. Let me ask you this. A lot of questions, of course, being asked about Sailor, the 4-year-old daughter of Cassie and Marcus. And now the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office says that Sailor is safe. But I know, Ray, you and I originally communicated over Facebook because you were saying that she's not with your family. So can you just speak for a moment to Sailor and her safety?
Right. Sailor has been located by law enforcement and is well, but she is not safe until she is back with us, the maternal side of her family. She lives and resides full-time at my father's house with my sister. She is probably scared out of her mind, wondering where her mother is. She is not safe under his care. So we are doing everything we can with paperwork and whatnot to trying to bring Sailor back to us safely. Because until then, we cannot rest either. Until Cassie and Sailor are both back home safe with us.
I was listening very intently to the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office in their press conference yesterday, and they stated that the last person to see Cassie Carli alive is Marcus. Now, what do you believe transpired in this parking lot when they met? Again, this is supposed to be a relatively routine custody exchange. It's one child going from one parent to the other. They're meeting at this location, which maybe you can describe it better to me. We have some images here that are showing this parking lot that they met by Juana's Pagodas right across the causeway there, and how public that was. But what happened in this meeting, based on your understanding and what the community search effort has been doing their own investigating on the ground? What happened when Cassie arrives to the parking lot to pick up her daughter from Marcus? What happened there in Navarre Beach?
We still have so many questions too, honestly. The only thing we could possibly think is if he coerced her in some way using Sailor, because there's not much he could have said to convince my sister to get in the vehicle with him, to take a walk with him, any of those possibilities. Like I said, we're still unsure, but we just know that his intentions from the beginning of meeting her in that parking lot were not to gracefully hand Sailor over. Something occurred, whether she said something to upset him or he just had this planned. Honestly, he is that type of person. We have been in fear of this for a long time.
Yes.
So,
I mean, we found posts of him talking about trying to figure out how to disable his OnStar in his car.
yes.
How to build a silencer. This was years ago, but I know I've never searched for anything like that. I mean, who does that? What type of person are we dealing with? Cassie would not leave her daughter. She would not leave her daughter with him if she didn't have to, if it wasn't court ordered. She would not have let him drive off with her child under any circumstances unless it was court ordered. And she should have had her daughter and been back at her father's house Sunday evening.
Yeah.
So let's now go into how Alabama is connected to all of this, because Alabama is where they found, or again, on Wednesday, going back to the timeline, is where they eventually would find Marcus and Sailor, the 4-year-old daughter, up in Birmingham, Alabama. The Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office saying that Marcus is up there at a job site on assignment, working up there. He's up there for work reasons. The Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office has said that they have communicated with Marcus. And yesterday at the press conference at the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office, they put his picture out there. They don't name him as a suspect. They don't name him even as a person of interest, but they put his picture out there. And I have it from Sergeant Alloy of the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office, who I've been in contact with, who says that they put that picture out for a very specific reason. This is the last person to see Cassie alive. What needs to be done now from your family's vantage point to track down where Cassie is located and what happened to her?
We just know we want him to be seen, because we know there are also other possible individuals that have spoke with him. If you know anything, say something, please. Any tip is not too big or too small.
He works in Alabama, so we know that's where he is. And we're confident that the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Department is following the proper legal avenues to make sure that nothing is slipping through the cracks, and that we're going to be able to carry this all the way to prosecution if that's where it comes to. And so we're very confident that they're doing exactly what they need to bring Cassie home to us, and to make sure that they don't let whoever's responsible for this get away with this.
This story now starting to reach not just a national audience, but there's even publications around the world that are starting to pick up on Cassie Carli's.
That's what we want. We want the world to be looking for Cassie. She would be here if she could be, and she would help every single one of you in this exact situation. We want the world to be talking about her, looking for her, and looking at anybody else that they think could have anything to do with this.
And that's why we've activated Share to Help on the bottom of your screen, sharing this out on Twitter, sharing this out on Facebook. Again, getting these images out there to as many phones and devices and eyeballs as possible in the hopes of finding Cassie Carli. Coming back, before we let you go, we know you have only just a couple of more minutes. I bring up the national and international media attention because of how rapidly this has been evolving over the last several days. I wanted to give your family and Cassie's friends and family, everybody, just the opportunity. Is there anything that is being reported that has been erroneous? Sometimes when you have various agencies reporting on a story and they're not located here in Florida, things can get taken out of context. What do you most want to either correct or the world to know about this story as it continues to unfold?
You know, we're trying not to let the misinformation get out there. And I think I've seen a lot of people who take something from 3 days ago and are applying it today. This is a constantly fluid, changing situation that we, as Cassie's friends and family, are really just doing the best we can. Luckily, one of Cassie's great friends, Sam Graves, has passed law enforcement. It's amazing the village that Cassie has built, that have come together and are literally just putting all of our heads together and sharing and searching and thinking and praying that she gets to come home.
Yes. And I just want it to be known too that my sister was in the best place. She was so happy and hopeful for the future. And there is no reason to believe she would ever choose to do something like this on her own, ever. And she would never, ever leave her daughter. Ever.
The only time Cassie has not had her child during her custody time, which is 85%, is when Marcus has taken her previously against the law, and we've had to get the law involved to get this baby back 2 weeks later. This has progressed. This has been escalated, and we want this to be a lesson for every future Cassie, that this needs to stop, that this is not okay. It's becoming all too often, and we're not having it. We're not having it.
Yeah, she disappears right before he's got to pay.
We will not be quiet. We will not. Yeah.
Right before he's got to
pay all the attorney's fees,
like child support, money too. It's just sad.
What is the plan for today? I know that there have been routine search efforts going on all week, and some of the video that we'll play here, you'll see some of the search efforts. Before we let you go, where is the family? Where are you guys heading? And what is the plan as the search continues for Cassie Carli?
We're going to keep linking up with the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office, putting our heads together and searching every tip and lead that comes to us. There's nothing too small or too big that you guys can call Crime Stoppers. It's star tips, TIPS. You can call the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Department, 911. There's nothing too small that can't be shared, because we are going to keep looking until Sailor and Cassie are home.
And is there anything, while I have you guys on the line here, is there anything that I can do? Is there anything that we here can do as far as helping spread the word? I mean, really, it comes down to, I think, the followers here and the viewers watching now, as far as spreading out this story and sharing it on social media. Is there anything that I can do, or anything that you'd like the people, the folks watching now, wherever they're watching from, to do to help out in your search efforts?
We are so grateful right now just for this coverage, but just please keep talking about it. Like JB said, like this, share this, post it, anything you see to keep Cassie's name out there. We want to be as loud as possible. We are working with all kinds of organizations, EquiSearch, all of that. Anyone we can bring in to help with any resources is great. Once again, if you know anything in that area, reach out to us. We are open to any advice, any tips that can help bring her home.
And where should they go if they have information they want to reach out to you? What's the best avenue?
Is it the Crime Stoppers?
The Crime
Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Department. I think we need to go ahead and just keep giving them the direct information, especially if we think it's something linked directly to Marcus or Cassie right now.
Yes.
Crime Stoppers, if you can't get through to them, star TIPS is a number you can text. It's anonymous. They're offering a reward.
We will have some sites up later today posted. I will make sure I give those to you as well. If anyone wants to donate to the volunteers and the search efforts and whatnot, we will be organizing all of that too today.
We're working on legal fees for Cassie.
And helping bring Sailor
We're
home.
not going to let anything financial slow this down, though.
No.
Well, we can't thank you enough for taking time out of your day to join us. And I think I speak for all of our commenters, and I'm looking at the YouTube comment section and the amount of heart emojis and prayer emojis that I'm seeing, Facebook Live as well. I think I speak for thousands watching right now that are wishing you the very best and are rallying behind finding Cassie and finding her as soon as humanly possible. So thank you to all four of you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
JB.
you.
Thank you, JB. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, everyone.
Take care, everybody. All right.